The woman who waited 10 years for revenge. Shijian Chao, the blade of vengeance. Part 1. 3 shots in a temple. 3 gunshots shattered the silence of a Buddhist temple, not on a battlefield, but in a place meant for peace. It was 1935 in Tianjin, China. Inside the quiet hall, filled with incensed smoke and whispered prayers, a powerful man knelt before a statue of Buddha. His eyes were closed. His lips moved slowly, reciting sacred words. This man had once controlled armies. His name was Sun Chuanfang, and in that moment he believed he was finally safe. Then a woman stepped forward from the shadows, not a soldier, just a slender figure in simple clothing. She raised her hand, fired. Bang. The first bullet tore into his neck. Bang. The second shot struck his body as he collapsed. The third made sure he would never rise again. Panic exploded across the temple. People screamed, some ran, others froze in disbelief, but the woman did not move. She stood there calm, unshaken. Then she reached into her coat and scattered leaflets into the air. Paper rained down like snow, and in a clear, steady voice she declared, "I am Shi Jianqiao. I killed him to avenge my father." She did not run. She did not hide. Instead, she waited, because this was never just an assassination. It was the end of a story that had begun 10 years earlier. A story of blood, of patience, and of a daughter who turned herself into a weapon. Part 2. The day everything was taken. 10 years earlier, in 1925, China was a land torn apart. Warlords fought for power. Cities changed hands like pieces on a chessboard, and human life meant very little. Shi Jianqiao was not yet Shi Jianqiao. Shi Jianqiao. Her name was Shigulan. She was 21 years old, educated, living a comfortable life in Tianjin, and she loved her father. General Shi Kongbin was a respected military leader, a man known for discipline, honor, and loyalty. But in war, honor means nothing to the cruel. During a brutal conflict, he was captured by the forces of Sun Chuanfang. What happened next would define the rest of her life. Sun Chuanfang was known as the Smiling General, but behind that smile was something far darker. Instead of treating his prisoner with dignity, chose to make an example. General Shi Kongbin was executed, beheaded, but it did not end there. His severed head was placed on a wooden spike, displayed at a train station for the public to see. A sign beneath it carried his name, a warning, a humiliation, a message to anyone who dared to oppose Sun Chuanfang. Crowds gathered. Some stared in horror, some looked away. When the news reached Shigulan, her world collapsed. She imagined it, her father's face, exposed to strangers. His dignity stripped away. That image burned into her mind, day after day, night after night. And slowly, grief turned into something else, something colder, something sharper. Hatred, she made a vow. There cannot be 2 suns in the sky, and there cannot be 2 purposes in my heart. If I do not kill Sun Chuanfang, I am not worthy of being human. On that day, Shigulan died, and Shi Jianqiao was born. Name meant the sword rising over the bridge. Part 3. 10 years in the shadows. Revenge is easy to promise, but nearly impossible to achieve. Sun Chuanfang was not just a man. He was a warlord, surrounded by soldiers, protected by guards. Hidden behind layers of power, how could a single woman reach him? At first, Shi Jianqiao looked to others. Her family, her husband, her allies, surely someone would help her. But time passed. Months turned into years. Promises faded. Excuses grew. People were afraid. Afraid of Sun Chuanfang, afraid of his power, afraid of dying. And slowly, she realized something. No one was coming. No one would avenge her father. If justice was to exist, she would have to create it herself. Revenge cannot be borrowed, she whispered to herself. It must be taken. And so, she began A life rebuilt for one purpose. She changed everything. Her appearance, her habits, her identity. She dressed simply. Like a devout woman of faith, she visited temples, blended into crowds. It's invisible, but inside, she was sharpening a blade. The body that refused to obey. There was one problem. Shi Jianqiao had bound feet, a painful tradition that made walking difficult. Running, it's almost impossible. If she was to kill a warlord, she needed control over her body, so she made a decision. She endured surgery, agonizing procedures to loosen her feet. Day after day, she trained, learning to walk, then to move faster, then to stand steady. The pain was unbearable, but she never stopped, because every step forward brought her closer to him. Learning to kill. She learned to use a gun. A small Browning pistol, light, concealable, deadly at first. Her hands shook. She missed her targets, but she kept practicing, again and again, until her aim became steady, till her fear disappeared, until the weapon felt like an extension of her will. Watching, waiting, becoming. Years passed. She tracked his movements, his habits, his routines. Every detail mattered. Which car he used, where he sat, who guarded him. She became patient. More patient than anyone had ever imagined. Because she understood something most people don't. Revenge is not about rage, it's about timing. And then, after 10 long years, the opportunity came. Part 4. The Fall of a Warlord. By 1935, everything had changed. Sun Chuanfang had lost power. Defeated in political struggles, he retreated from the battlefield. No longer a warlord. He became something else. A man seeking peace. He turned to Buddhism. Spent his days in temples, praying, reflecting, repenting. The butcher, now hiding behind religion. To others it looked like redemption. To Shi Jianqiao, it was weakness. And for the first time in 10 years, he was vulnerable. Part 5. The Day of Judgment. November 13th, 1935. Rain fell over Tianjin. Cold, silent, heavy, inside the temple. Incense filled the air. Sun Chuanfang sat in the front row, eyes closed, murmuring prayers. Perhaps he believed. His past had been forgiven. Then she entered. Shi Jianqiao, calm, focused, unshakable. She walked slowly, each step echoing in her mind. 10 years. 3,650 days. All leading to this moment. She stood behind him, close enough to see the back of his neck. The same neck that once gave the order that took her father's life. Her heart pounded, her hands tightened around the gun. For a brief moment, time stopped. She saw her father. She saw the execution, the humiliation, the suffering. And then, everything became clear. She raised the gun and fired. Part 6. The Aftermath. Chaos erupted. Screams filled the temple. People ran in every direction, but Shi Jianqiao did not move. She stood there, as if the storm around her no longer mattered. She scattered her leaflets, each one telling the truth, each one explaining her purpose. Then, she did something no one expected. She turned herself in. She called the police and waited, because her mission was complete. The sword had struck. 7. A nation divided. The trial shocked all of China. Newspapers exploded with headlines. A daughter's revenge. A female avenger. A murder or justice. The nation was divided. Some said, she is a killer. Others said, she is a hero. The courtroom became a battlefield, not of weapons, but of ideas. Law versus morality. The law was clear. She had committed murder. The punishment should be death. But tradition said something different. In Chinese culture, filial piety, Honoring one's parents was sacred. To avenge one's father was not a crime, it was a duty. Her testimony. When Shi Jianqiao spoke, the room fell silent. She did not beg. She did not cry. She simply told the truth about her father, about his death, about the years of waiting. Her voice was calm, but every word carried weight. Even the judges were moved. The people rise. Across the country, support grew. Students protested. Women's groups marched. Petitions flooded the government. Thousands demanded her release. To them, she was not a criminal. She was justice. Part 8. The final verdict. In 1936, the decision came. The court made history. They declared her act a morally justified expression of filial devotion. Shi Jianqiao was pardoned, set free. Part 9. Part 9. The quiet end. After her release, she disappeared from the spotlight. No fame, no glory. She chose a quiet life. Working in education, helping others, living not as a killer, but as a woman who had fulfilled her purpose. She died in 1979, but her story never died. Part 10. The question that remains. Was she a murderer or a hero? Was this justice or revenge? Because sometimes the line between them is razor thin. And sometimes it takes just one person to cross it. So what do you think? Was Shi Jianqiao right? Or did she go too far? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might be even darker.